I'm Jim, and I'm the owner of this wonderful 42-plus acre waterfront log hybrid home estate, and I'll explain the word hybrid in a moment. This was my late wife's and my early retirement dream log home. We retired about 8 years ago, and it took quite a few years to plan, and the only reason I'm selling the home is I'm now a widower and I don't have a family. I'm here by myself, and she never got to live here, and I need to start a new life somewhere else. And the house is fully paid for. There's never been any indebtedness on it, and I just wanted to add that because I'm certain people are wondering why I would sell such a wonderful place, as it has been a lifelong dream. My wife and I spent about 7 years building this house, along with 3 Mennonite crews and another crew of another 3 or 4 workers, and also a skilled worker who did all the final work. He put in over 7,000 hours over several years, completing all the details of the home. The home is on the Big Sauble River, which is a very beautiful, gentle flowing river that flows year-round. It's consistent year-round. And across the great room, across from the deck here to the west, is also a trout stream, a spring-fed trout stream. There's a small valley here. There is approximately 1,650 lineal feet of frontage of property, approximately 850 or so or thereabouts on each side. And we own also acreage on the other side of the river, which you will see during the daylight, which is heavily forested. This site took 20 years to find. It was so unusual. I didn't want to be on a mud road or a dirt road, as most of these large tracts of land on the Big Sauble River in this part of the state of Michigan are in 2-track areas or just dirt or gravel roads. This is on a Class A highway. It's Highway 31 out to the east. The driveway is 1/2 mile deep. It's a private driveway. It's not an easement. It's not a shared driveway. The nearest home is about 1/2 mile away in any direction from the compass. Highway 31 traverses from Ludington, Michigan up to Manistee, and actually begins from Indiana, going all the way through the state, all the way up to the Mackinac Bridge. So it's a main road. It's a 2-lane road. The road is well maintained. It's a Class A road. The property is mostly forested, probably about 85% forested. A lot of coniferous trees, which means they're beautiful year-round. They don't shed their leaves because they're needle trees. The property is on a bend of the river. There's a 22.5-degree angle on this portion of the house, and a 22.5-degree angle on this portion of the house, which you'll see later in the video, which surrounds the bend and allows the house to fit the bend. There is a great room area here, which is 27 feet in height. There's 22 inches of blown-in insulation in the entire roof area of the house. There are 2x6 walls with heavily insulated insulation, and then Tyvek on the exterior, and then full logs made by the Mennonites at their mill. It's not log siding, they're full logs with chinking and full log ends, as I mentioned before. The great room has a loft area up here, which you'll see later, which is roughly about 800 square feet or thereabouts. It could make an excellent office area, it could make an exercise area, or it could make a master bedroom area. And the choice could be up to whoever is interested in the home. All of the electrical and all of the lighting is the newest technology, the highest energy efficient lighting possible. Everything is LED lighting, and everything is a soft switch rocker switch system on all the electrical. The lights up high are all variable, and there are overhead ceiling fans that are extremely effective in the summer. There is also a whole house ventilating system. It's a large industrial fan up in the attic above the ceiling, above the log purlins in the tongue and groove ceiling, and by flipping a switch and opening up a window in the summer on one end of the house and the other, a screened window, the entire house will cool off in minutes, and bringing the temperature down to a nice evening temperature. Here in Michigan, the temperatures typically drop about 15 degrees in the evening. Most evenings in the summer here are 60s. If you're not from Michigan, the typical summer temperature is probably between 75 and 86, rarely getting over 86, not more than a few days out of the year. The house is very cool, does not need insulation, or excuse me, air conditioning because it's so well insulated. The floor here has a commercial grade carpet. I like carpet rather than cold, echoey hardwood floors. All of the home is carpeted. There is a commercial grade pad underneath all of the carpet in the house. And all of the windows are crank out Pella windows throughout the entire house. The sliding glass doors go out to a deck that is 70 feet long. The deck has a cable railing system, so you can see right through the rails or the cables and see the view of the river without looking at lumber. And it's a level surface all the way through, about 12 feet in width on average. Underneath the deck is a barn sheet roofing system that you can't see, with about a 1/12 pitch, and below the deck it's all enclosed with windows and a roll-up door on the end. So this in essence is a 70-foot lineal garage. It's ideal for canoes or quads or lawn equipment or ladders or boats or whatever someone might want to store. The front entrance has a large entrance with full logs going all the way up to about 27 feet. All of the ceiling area is all hand cut pine log purlins, and also the red pine tongue and groove ceiling throughout this area, the den area, and also in this area as well. And the arrangement here is open, where if someone had a lot of entertaining or a large family, these 3 couches could easily have more couches added. The living area could continue for another 25 or so feet in this direction if someone wanted more couches or furniture or to have their own layout. The sliding glass doors also have screens, and the lights are all adjustable, as well as the fans are variable speed fans. And there's also a fan over the loft area, as well as a fan in the den area as well. Obviously, we're in the kitchen area now, and the kitchen was custom designed by my late wife, who was a gourmet cook and had a food service degree. She designed it the way she liked it, and all of the features in the kitchen are custom. Solid cherry cabinets with no OSB, all solid wood. The appliances are all the Gallery line of Frigidaire, all black stainless. And there is an extended warranty on the refrigerator and the stove. The stove is an induction stove, which took a special order to get. That was new on the market for Frigidaire. The refrigerator is the largest there is available on the market. It's approximately 28 cubic feet with a French sliding freezer and crushed in regular cubes filtered water. And there's also a filtered water system in the entire house. And the water is sweet and pure in the house. And so we've got a whole house filter that needs to be replaced maybe once a year. And then there's also another filter on the refrigerator. There is a very high performance fan to ventilate on the Frigidaire microwave, which is underneath the bottom of the microwave. And there's a new Frigidaire Gallery dishwasher that still has the original plastic on it. I don't think you can see it, which has never been used. And there are other appliances that still have the original factory plastic on them because they've been either not used or used very little. This is new construction. The house was completed in the fall of 2020. The occupancy permit was received in 2018. There is a full walk-in pantry, which you'll see on the video. Another interesting thing about the pantry is if someone wanted to have a small computer area in there, or if they wanted to have even a crib or something like that, if they have a small child, that's even possible. The racking or the shelving in the pantry is National Food Service grade, and it's on wheels and it's fully adjustable, so someone could add or subtract that shelving because it is on wheels, so if they wanted to do any of these things, they could. And if they don't want to, it would just be full of shelving as it is now. There is a mudroom with sliding doors for all the things that you don't want to have in the rest of the house. There's a side entrance there going outside. There's also an entrance to the garage, as you can possibly see. It's a 3.5 stall garage. It has heated. It has its own zone area for heat, so you can either have heat or no heat. It has 2 floor drains, and it has its own water system and a retractable, flexible type hose. So if a person wants to wash their car off, especially salt and slush in the winter, they can keep their car clean. And it has 2-part epoxy floor finish on the floor. It has insulated walls. It's completely finished that you might see in the video clip. It has insulated garage doors, crank out insulated window. It has an extra wide stairway for a full size attic area for a large volume of storage area up in the ceiling area of the garage. There is a kitchen bathroom with a full ceramic tile shower off to the kitchen. And there's also an area here for furniture or a desk or anything that somebody might want. There are 18 outlets in the kitchen, and these are all GFI outlets around the kitchen area itself. And rather than to have a dining room, this is a dining area. This particular table was built in the 1870s, but I have leaves for it, allowing it to go out to 10.5 feet. Anybody who wants to have a large family gathering can have a dining room table extend out, so no matter how many might come, you can go all the way out into the great room and not have to have the unnecessary dining room, which seems to be a thing of the past. Windows are all with screens. Screens are off this time of year, and every window in the home has screens, and they are all I think it's the 5000 series Pella windows with the highest E rating and all the highest R rating that there is, or whatever they call it. The vinyl on the kitchen floor is all a soft vinyl, so if someone drops fine china or glassware, it's very unlikely to break. And that was a special order item because that's been kind of an unhappy experience for people. And this property is on the Big Saddle River. There's 1,650 feet of frontage on both sides of the Big Saddle River, which is over to my west. The river is a beautiful brown trout river. It's also in a trout fish conservancy and is stocked and maintained for brown trout fishing. It also has all species of fish. It's a great canoeing river, swimming river, and kayaking river as well. It never dries up. It's consistent year-round. I wanted to give you this video because a lot of you are coming from hundreds of miles away and are not necessarily even familiar with Michigan, much less this specific area. So in fairness to you, and because of the travel, I wanted to share a lot of the custom features of the home and the property, which make this a very unique property. The home is approximately 7,000 square feet. It's on a large tract of heavily forested property. It has about 800 or more feet of frontage on this side of the Big Saddle River. There are a number of acres on the other side of the river, which are all heavily forested. Immediately across the great room, which I'm in now, is a trout stream, which is spring-fed and is consistent year-round and never dries up. The property on the other side of the river goes as far as the eye can see, consisting of a number of acres and then going up a hill. So any future development by any other property owner or parcel would never come close to this property whatsoever. There is about a half a mile distance from the nearest home. There's one exception downstream, which I've never seen the home or met the owners. They are on the other side of the river. Total privacy. The property has a lot of hardwood and softwood trees, and also was an old Christmas tree farm. The trees are old Christmas trees. Those are now about 40 years old. The trees and the dense cover have made ideal protection for deer and for bucks, and there are a lot of bucks on the property. There's a lot of wildlife, a lot of turkey, rabbit, and other species. And I'm not a hunter, but the deer come into the woods every day, And if someone does enjoy hunting, this is an ideal location. The driveway is a half a mile deep. It is not an easement. It is not a shared driveway. It belongs to no one else. And at the entrance of the driveway is a location where it could be gated off. So if someone wanted to leave the property or they wanted security, that particular location would close off the entire property, so no one with a quad or a four-wheel drive vehicle could come on the property from any of the other directions. It's heavily forested to the north, inaccessible because of the river to the west, and a very large tract of forested land belonging to someone else to the south, over 100 acres. So the nature of the property is such where if someone is interested in a prepper's location or a security area, this property is it. It has its own well, it has its own septic, it has a 9,000 watt Generac generating electric backup system in addition to the normal utilities, and its own propane, so this property can be just as independent from anything that could ever happen in case of civil unrest or snow or ice storms or any other reason for being isolated or having problems getting out. It's on a Class A road. Most parcels this large in this part of the state of Michigan, are on a typical 2-track or a dirt road, and this is a Class A highway which is maintained throughout the year on a daily basis. It connects two larger cities, being Ludington to the south, Manistee to the north, and it goes from Indiana, being US 31, all the way to the Mackinac Bridge, which is the far northern end of this peninsula of Michigan. There's never any restrictions on the road. The property is very peaceful and quiet. There is no noise, there's no agricultural smells, there are no sounds of truck traffic or jets or airplanes overhead. There are no airports or anything of that nature. It's very private, very quiet. The stars that you see at night are unbelievable because there's no reflection of the city lights to either direction, as this is a very beautiful forested rural area of the part of Michigan. We're in the master bathroom, and my late wife and I loved going to the Upper Peninsula of Michigan, and if you're not from Michigan, there are a lot of very magnificent waterfalls, from Tahquamenon Falls, which is the largest waterfall east of Niagara in the Midwest, all the way down to many waterfalls like this. This is an Upper Peninsula waterfall. You can hear the gurgling of the water, which I added. The master bath has dual sinks, soft close cabinetry. It has a charcoal chub tower. Everything is natural log lodge colors. It has a custom design cabinet for toiletries and everything related to that, and as well as storage here, of course. There is a hot tub here, and it's a 2-person hot tub, and it has the special jacuzzi jets for back massage and also for foot massage, and it's extremely enjoyable during the cold weather. There are additional towel racks here that you don't see, and there's also a flat screen TV that swings out, so if someone enjoys movies or Netflix or whatever, brand new, it's not even been hooked up yet, but it will be. So if someone likes movies, they've got that option. If they don't want to look at the TV, it swings out of the way. And of course there's a stool here, needless to say. And it has extra comfortable, thick, soft carpet with a heavy foam pad, as do all the rooms. The walk-in laundry area is immediately adjacent to the master bathroom, which is also adjacent to the master bedroom, which is that way in the house towards the south. And there are brand new Whirlpool washers and dryers with the newest technology. In fact, the plastic is still on both of the washer and dryer. There's also cabinets and storage for clothing, and the whole area back here is a walk-in closet. There are pocket doors here. There's pocket doors here. There's also a pocket door back here. LED lighting. There's also a heating unit here, which is really comfortable in the winter, as well as an exhaust fan if someone takes a shower or whatever. And everything is in brand new condition. The hot tub has only been used a couple of times. It's empty at this moment, and everything is very open and comfortable to get in and out. If someone likes to have a hot tub outdoors, which may not be the case, this is an outdoor hot tub. It's fully insulated, and it can virtually be rolled like a tire down the hallway through the doors and could be put out on the deck. And it runs off of 115 volts of current, and it can go virtually anywhere. We're in the workshop area of the basement, as you can clearly see. This is all ground level. There is an insulated 8-foot wide garage door, plus a man door going outside. I designed the basement to open up, which it continues that way. I'll show you in a moment how that works. I collect large objects and restore things, and that's the reason I had a door here. This area of the basement meets all fire codes and all insurance inspection codes, requiring a steel ceiling, which is what this is, and 5/8 fire rating drywall. And then there's a door here, and that door opens up. It's about 9.5 feet wide or thereabouts. There are 240 volt outlets over here. A lot of my equipment, which is woodshop equipment, as you can tell, is 240 volts, allowing heavy duty equipment here if you like that sort of thing. Lots of area for storage, in-floor PEX tubing heating, of course, as is the case throughout the entire home. There are outside lights, and then immediately to the west is the 70-foot long lineal garage that I mentioned. That's behind this wall for the full length of the deck. And there is a roll-up type door on the south end of that garage area, which is great for keeping things that you don't want in the barn or if you don't want them in the garage. Also included in the house is a 9,000 watt new generator, and it's electric start, and it is made by Generac. And there is a spot for it outside. I do keep it inside just to keep it protected. And that is included with the house. And the door swings open like this, so if someone collects cars or restores motorcycles, or I have an old vintage 1938 Chris Craft, I was planning on keeping that in my basement. And that allows someone to bring in something very large in the rest of the basement and can continue on all the way to the carpeted area. And again, that's a steel fire door. We're in the mechanical room of the house, which is in the basement, of course. And most in-floor PEX heating hot water systems typically are in one floor. This house was built with 2 levels of heating systems. One in the concrete, which is zone 1, also in the main floor as well. And it consists of PEX tubing, which is the red tubing that you can see here. It does expand if there was ever a frozen issue or a cold weather issue, which won't be the case. When the house was under construction, the basement was always 56 degrees, even in the dead of winter, when it was even below 0 at night, with no heat on, because of the fact that it's in the ground and it's very heavily insulated. There's 2 inches of ground contact foam and visqueen underneath the concrete. There's about 5.5 inches of reinforced concrete. There are insulated interior walls with visqueen. The entire basement does have drywall and is finished. This is the propane powered hot water boiler system for the home. And then the zones are here. There's a zone for the basement, as I mentioned, upstairs, a second zone, and a third zone being the garage. There is a heat pump, hot water heater, and it says right on the side that it takes a total of $215 of electric power per year to operate for a full family. And it actually cools, heats, I should say, the hot water from the air here in the basement. It's even programmable with a smartphone if someone wants to do that. And everything here is self-contained. And there's also a emergency water fill system. If there was ever something that went wrong, it would fill automatically even if no one is attending to it. There's also a walk-in closet that's immediately this direction for other miscellaneous storage, as well as storage out here in the basement and other parts of the basement as well. All rooms are finished. We're back on the south part of the property, south of the house, probably mid area of the property. There's probably another 1,000 feet or more to the south direction here, the house being north. And we've got a natural fairway here. You might be able to see a second flag in the background. And this is all new lawn. And there is an open area that I'm pointing to that would also be an outstanding fairway for additional holes if someone wants to continue the golf concept and so on and so forth. The property is already there. Stumps don't have to be removed. Someone could bring in a professional piece of equipment to aerate and recut the surface and then reseed it so it's a new lawn like this is, so a person could expand on this idea as much as they wanted. And the barns are over to the northeast, and the property to the west goes another 900 feet or so, heavy forest. Then it drops down. There's a 2-track road along the river about 75 feet away from the river, so a person can go down there with a vehicle or a truck or a quad or even an RV and camp and be right on the river. They would be still another 50 feet off of the river. To the south here is a very dense black spruce forest, and there are tens of thousands of 45-year-old spruce trees or thereabouts. They're all about 35, 40 feet tall. This is the cover for buck and for all the other wildlife. And even though it's forest land on all 3 sides of this property, this is the most dense property, allowing the bucks to come here when there's hunting pressure. And the doe season here in Michigan begins October 1st and it continues until December 31st. The rifle season here in Michigan begins November 15th to the 30th. And then there's also a black powder muzzleloader season for about 10 days in December. And there's also an early hunt, a junior hunt for kids in late September. So if a person's interested in getting bucks, this is definitely the property. Here's an example of the buck activity on the property. This is a fresh scrape that's tended to morning and night. You can tell by the way the earth has been moved how frequently it's used. The does come and urinate here for those who know about deer hunting. Sorry, ladies. There is a hunting channel this way for several hundred feet. There's a hunting channel here for about 300 feet. There's a major channel about 8 feet wide, about 500 feet that way. And there are 2 more channels even longer that way. And above all of this is an enclosed buck blind that's fully wrapped around with slot type windows. And it's out of the wind and the weather. It's about 17 feet up. And whoever is there has a panoramic view of all of these channels. This is very heavy vegetation for bucks. Bucks like heavy cover as compared to doe, who don't really care. And I was in the blind last night. I walked up there, climbed up there quietly in the dusk, and I just panned these areas. And about 100 feet over here was a doe sitting, watching that straight, looking for a buck. So the activity here is very continual, and the rut is about to begin now here in Michigan, and we're in northwest Michigan, and this entire area is heavy dense cover, as we'll see in a few minutes, even better than near the home. And the river is that way to the west, and there's a very large tract of land, around 100 acres to the south, and the deer always gravitate to this property if there is any hunting pressure, which there rarely is, because they're not bothered here. And I don't hunt. I stopped hunting when I became a widower, and the deer know they're safe here.